Hello. Good afternoon.
Hi. Good to see you. Good to see you too. How's everybody doing?
Good. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so glad you're here.
Happy to be
so
here.
much. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm so happy that you all are here with me as we share what the upcoming conference, Elevate and Empower with Elegance, is all about. I am Judge Carol Munnings. I am the creator of the Justice with Judge Carol television show and a retired judge, and I am also the promoter and host of this ladies' conference. So one of the things I want to talk about today is just to share my idea and my vision for this conference. So it goes back to my 30 plus years in the legal profession. I have 4 kids that I have raised and worked as a legal professional over that period of time. And the challenges for being a working mom with a family are quite intense. And now that I'm retired from legal practice, what I want to do is help to support other women who are raising families and working and trying to manage a career at the same time. So that's where the vision for the conference came from for me. And part of the vision as well is to bring in other women to share their experiences and to support and see how else we can help women to navigate these challenges. And so I've asked you guys to come on board and to participate in this event. And if you can maybe also share what you would hope would come out of out of the conference and your participation in the conference. Maybe Melissa, you can share.
Melissa, hi, I'm Melissa Darville, and I'm from Global Afro-Caribbean Network, which is a nonprofit, and that group is designed to help people with micro businesses and small businesses to flourish. And so our thing is also with barriers and borders, because we want to get everyone to cross the borders in order to increase their market and be able to make more money, which will help their families. So I hope that from this, the women who come to this can find a plan that they can set for their lives that would give them a purposeful action for their lives. Because sometimes we are so caught up in just going through the motions, but we don't feel fulfilled in the work that we do. And so at some point, we want more from our job. And so we can come up with ideas and different plans and projects that we could do that could benefit us as our profession and also give back to the community to give you some fulfillment.
So I'll go next. So I am Natisha Bain. I am a partner at Lennox Payton. I've been in the legal field not quite 30 years, but 12 years. I'm in the real estate and resort development department. And I'm also a mother. So I'm a mother of 1 and a mother of 1 to come.
Right.
So when you talk about balance in career, I am right there with you. So it's so difficult making sure that you have time for your family, but also you're flourishing in your careers, and you're also giving back to the community. So those are things that I've been doing. I was also the Rotary Club president last year, Rotary Club of Old Fort. And so that was also something that, because I always wanted to give back to my community.
Yes.
So outside of the professional world, I wanted to give back, but I also want to be a part of my family. And so navigating that and making sure that women understand that you can do it all. Sometimes we say, oh, we're not superwomen. Yeah, I am. I am a superwoman. And through this conference, I hope that women realize that. They tap into their own potential. They understand who I am and what I can bring to the table, and not be afraid of that. Be confident, be bold, because empowered women empower women.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So.
Yeah. And I think too, what you said about being superwoman, I think there's a challenge and kind of a dichotomy with thinking or judging ourselves that can I do it all? Should I be trying to do it all? And I agree with you. I think the answer is yes. And also, our own expectations of ourselves. So I think there's an element of perfection that we try and put on ourselves, that we have a desire to be a part of our community. We have a desire to have healthy, thriving families. And we have a desire to grow our careers. Absolutely. And I think there was, for me as well, there was like a tug of war. Well, if I'm giving in this area, am I shortchanging another area? And so we set the bar so high, and we feel like we have to score a 10 out of 10 in each area. Otherwise, we're not doing it right. And so I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I think that's one of the messages that I would like to come out of this conference, that you don't have to aim for perfection. You aim for fulfillment, but not perfection,
So my name is Sabrina Stubbs. I've been within the hospitality industry for almost 20 years. So right out of high school, it's just been hospitality for me, and I absolutely love it. I do honestly feel like these type of forums and conferences pretty much speaking on women and our potential and what we can do is important because it brings women together. A lot of times, especially in hospitality industry, in banking industry, in the music industry, we see where women are pinned against one another. And I really want and I really wish that we would get out of that mentality where we feel like we always have to compete. We always have to compete with one another. We always have to compete with what's happening next, or keep up with what's happening next. I just want us to be in an environment where we are comfortable to be there for one another, where we can listen, where we can learn, where we can mentor, where we can grow. And I think that this forum is one that, provides that opportunity, provides that environment where ladies can feel comfortable just being themselves, and comfortable connecting with other women that are on the same wavelength, that want the same things, that want to grow together. So that's one of the main reasons why I feel like this conference is important for growth, for friendship, for relationships, to learn, just to be better at what we do and who we are.
Yes. I think you touched on something there in terms of connection and competition. So when we are in competition with each other, we're not connecting, we're not supporting, and we're not elevating and uplifting. And one of the things I had observed, just looking across the landscape of the different types of conferences, remember I was talking with you a little bit earlier about what kinds of conferences you tend to see at this resort. And a lot of them are professional growth type events that are designed to help us advance professionally, and which is a good thing. However, we also need to be given an opportunity to connect with each other and not be in competition. And so that's one of the main focuses for me in producing this type of conference, is so that we can connect with each other and not see other women as someone that we have to try and get one over on, and where we can have conversation. So we're having a conversation today, sharing our own ideas, and that's good. And just the fact of having the conversation, I think, is also uplifting. Yes. And then you don't feel like, oh, I have to get ahead, or, oh, she's got this, she's got that, this title, this position. What do I need to do to get there? Rather, it's more of a sense of come alongside me. Oh, this is what I'm doing. Let me share with you what I'm doing, and let's see how we can grow together. So that's the elevate aspect of the conference, right? So we empower each other by sharing and by connecting, and then we elevate each other in supporting one another.
So just thinking about my career, when I first started, I have two stories, so bear with me.
Sure.
So as an intern, I was an intern first at Lennox Payton, and this is right before I was going into bar school. And I wanted to make an impression because I came from a single mother, and so this was my chance to make an impression in this law field. And the senior partner said that they, for weeks, was looking for this specific point of law because this would win them this big case. And someone said, okay, well, here, try it. And I said, okay, all right. After a few hours, I found a piece of law. And I thought, this can't be it. I'm an intern. These people were here for 20 years. I'm sure someone saw this. And when I took it to the senior partner, they said, wow, this is it. We did win the case, and it actually became a precedent, a legal precedent.
Oh, wow.
So since then, they called me that name for like 2 years. But that made me realize that, this is something that I can do.
So that was like an empowering
That was
moment for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially just coming straight out of basically law school.
Right.
And then when I started my as an associate, I was put on 2 major resort deals, and I was given significant oversight on that. And it was a sink or swim moment for me. And I said, okay, what is this? What is this? And I swam. I did.
Nice.
And 7 years later, I became a partner, one of the youngest partners at the firm.
Yeah, because
and a
7 years
female
is
partner.
fast.
Yes.
7 years is fast to become a partner. Wow.
And so because of that, and because of the mentorship that I also had at that time, I've started to empower, and we talked about this a little bit. I have
Yes.
associates under me. And so I've been able to guide them in the way that I was guided back
Yes.
then. And because sometimes they don't see women partners. Sometimes they don't see women who can lead, in a room, in a courtroom, in a meeting room. And so those are some of the tools that I learned over the years, especially coming straight out of law school, coming straight into the legal profession, and all across my career, I've been trying to mentor and bring and uplift women. And so I think that's something that's so important about this conference, bringing people together, bringing women together, realizing that we're not in competition, right? Bringing you up so that you can see what I've done, but then you can also exceed that. And I can help you along that way. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues here, whereas, we fear providing people with the opportunity to exceed us because we feel like once they've learned it, once they've tapped into it, once they have done better than me or they can do better than me, I am now null and void. Now I don't matter.
I'm in jeopardy. My
Right,
position
I'm
is
in jeopardy. And I think that's a big issue that we face. Like, it's not always that you're in jeopardy. It's not always that, okay, you no longer matter. It's now that you've become a mentor, you've become a teacher. Now, in the event, you want to move on, you can recommend, hey,
Yes.
I trained Melissa, and she can take over, and you can be confident in that. It's more so about being proud about what you've done versus feeling like, okay, now I don't matter.
Yeah, agreed.
Before I went into my manufacturing career, I had a school for special needs, and I was able to see 3 of my teacher's aides be able to get their bachelor's degree and start their own schools. And so for me, even though I stopped running the school and I closed my school, it was like a confirmation to me that I was able to pass on that gift and they were able to continue it. And so for me, that's like the true sign that you did a good job. When the people who you trained are able to, as you say, exceed and excel, excel in that. And the work that I do now, I wouldn't say that I'm not really in the professional world, as you would say, the white collar world, but I'm more in the manufacturing, hands-on trades part. And so one of the things that I do is I try to empower those ladies and young men to see the skills that are in their hands that can help them to sustain themselves. And so my empowerment is at a different level. We're not at the level that we're saying you're going to exceed in your career, but we're saying that you can be self-sufficient. You're not a beggar. You can provide for yourself. You were given a gift that was designed so that it's natural for you to take care of yourself. So my role is kind of getting people to stop the belief that everything has to be handed to them, that everything has to be free, but to look within themselves and see that I have the power and I have talent. Now all we need to do is develop that. And so part of the things that we're doing with our nonprofit is that we have an education stream that we're helping them to flash out their ideas, helping looking at them to see what type of skills that do you need to do to be to get your profession higher. So we're trying to uplift your skill. So like someone would say, okay, well, I just know how to cook. So that's not really a career. I can't do that much with it. We're like, no, let's look at this differently. Yes, you can cook. Find your niche. What is it that you want to do? You can bottle that. You can market that. You can start a restaurant. But what you need to do is develop that. And so before you can develop that, you first have to believe that you're able to do it.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of empowering to say that you can do this. And and so that's where I get a lot of my joy from, and that's what propels me when I see someone who came to me and said they just want to sell juice. I just want to go to the distributor, buy juice and sell it on the corner. I'd be like, you sure? Guess what? What you have in your yard? You got some soursop? Why don't you make a juice out of that? Why don't you make your own juice? Well, let me show you where to get the bottles from. Let me show you how to make the labels. You know how to get a barcode? I know how to do that. And so that's what I do. So I try to get them to create something. Because as our nation, we're consumers and we need to become producers.
Yes, agreed.
And if we do that, then we can sustain ourselves. We can make our own money, and we don't have to always look and say, who's going to give me something?
Right. I love that so much because that element of self-belief, confidence, but more so even self-trust and self-belief, the fact that your nonprofit is really working on helping persons who have talents, skills, and abilities who don't believe in themselves to come to that place of understanding and self-belief, because that's part of the Elevate for this conference as well, right? Because yes, there are other avenues. You don't just have to go and work for someone and stay in a job for 30 years in the same space. And then you can also pivot and you can try something new. So maybe, like you say, you had a school and then you moved and you had a manufacturing business, and now you're having a promotional, a nonprofit where you're encouraging other persons. And so we get to demonstrate. So in this kind of form, we get to demonstrate that your path doesn't have to be linear. It doesn't have to be a single thing. And if you can, I want to encourage people to believe in themselves, because if you can believe in yourself that you can do it, right? And someone is beside you, helping you and encouraging you that yes, you can, like what happened with you as a young associate. Yes, go ahead and try it. Yes, you can. And then you find out, oh, I can, and I did. And now look at me. So in your case, you started as a young intern, right? And they gave you a challenge. And you rose to the challenge, and then you believed in yourself a little more. And now here you are, you're a partner, and you have associates under you, and you're helping them to believe in themselves a little more. And I think that gets us, that's what I'm looking for with this. So we empower, and we elevate, and we get a little more, and then we're gonna do it in a way that is, but for me, like the elegance part of it is that we're doing it with style and with grace. We're not just kind of in your face and beating you over the head with it and saying it has to be this way, it has to be that way. But, showing how it can be done, showing opportunities, modeling, different people with different skill sets, modeling and mentoring. So there's a lot of mentoring that's happening, that has happened, and that we can bring to the forefront that can happen.
That word grace is important, because I think as women, we don't give ourselves enough grace. We are very hard on ourselves. Even you don't even need someone to insult you or put you down. Sometimes the things that are in our mind puts us down. Things that we've heard as a child, we still replay those same phrases in our mind. And so as women, we need to give ourselves the grace to say, yes, you didn't get an A+ on this, but guess what? You still did your best because you were juggling all these other things. So we have to give ourselves the grace that even though you may not have achieved it how you wanted to do, you still got it done. And the key thing is that you learned something in it, because we cannot look at life things that happen like tragedies and say, okay, that was a disaster and it was a failure, and just walk off, it was a failure. No, okay, let's look at that. So let's analyze it. You messed up because what? because you were doing too many things. Like in college, I tried one year to take 6 classes instead of 5 because I said I wanted to get that 18 credits because the last credit was for free. And then I ended up getting a C. And I'm just like, I don't like C's. I'm going back down to do 5 classes so I could make sure I get my A's. And so when you have something that happens that, that makes you feel depressed or sad, you look at it and say, now what is the gem I can pull from this? What did I learn about my limits? What did I learn about the people around me?
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for being here and for this conversation. And I'm really looking forward to continuing the conversation at the Elevate and Empower with Elegance conference.